Hello, everyone, and welcome to my very first live stream on YouTube. And today I will be sharing with you some key takeaways. If you don't know me, my name is Orel Bukola. I'm an auditor. I'm a manager with one of the big four firms in the UK, and I am a mentor to career starters, people who are just starting off their careers. I'm also a public speaker. So I have decided to use this session to chat about some key takeaways from my last mentoring sessions. I thought they were really profound, and it would be nice for this to, make its way up here for people to be able to listen to and make references to from time to time. So I've got one of the questions, which was basically, I'm a content creator, I work for myself, I own my own thing, but I struggle with motivation. What do I do? So most days I just sort of wake up and I don't feel like anything. I mean, I personally have been there before. There are days like that when I don't feel up to anything. But one of the first things I would say is go to the gym or find an alternative to physical exercise. Go to the gym. What I notice is if you do physical exercises, especially in the mornings, whenever, I mean, there is no answer as to when you go. You sort of determine that what you see is a burst of energy that you get. So you sort of get this burst of energy that helps you sort of thrive through the day. So go to the gym or find an alternative source of exercise. You could dance, you could do a walk where you sort of get all of these ideas flowing through. So do go to the gym. Now, the state of your body directly impacts how your mind is. And so mostly what affects people is their minds are not doing great as such. They cannot sort of get the ideas they need, and their motivation is really low. So your physiology is really important for your level of creativity. Another top tip that I'll give to you if you're feeling sort of not motivated is to not wake up to a day that you have not pre-planned. And then it is not as though it is a big deal. You have to sort of pre-plan your day. You don't need to get it all perfect, and you don't have to have this fantastic sort of plan. Sometimes you could use your normal Google calendar or your calendar app to sort of determine what you need to do or have a list of things to do, but don't get into a day without sort of pre-planning it. So try to pre-plan your days before you get into that day, because what then happens is you wake up to a day you don't even know what to do, and as such you fall into this rabbit hole of probably just scrolling through social media, doing TikToks and all of that. If you pre-plan your day, you know exactly the main things you need to achieve. That will really sort of help you. Another thing is get into this rhythm of doing things rather than just thinking about it and having them as intentions. So your intentions are good. You have these sort of goals that you have on your mind. You want to get through A, B, C, D, E. In fact, if you just sit back and think about it, you have gazillion things to get through, right? But you are not translating those intentions into action. So the first thing you need to do is, I want to do A, B, C, D, E. If I take A first, what are the things that I need to get through for me to achieve A, right? That's the first question that needs to cross your mind. Then you go for it. So take it the first step, and every other step will follow. Okay, so those three things will really be helpful for you in terms of getting through your motivation level. Another thing I would sort of just chip in quickly is know and understand what motivates you, because a lot of people don't understand what motivates them. A lot of people don't. So know what motivates you into action. So sometimes I remember a couple of days ago, I was really down. I didn't feel like going to the gym that day. It was after work. It was late. The weather wasn't great. It was rainy. So I didn't feel like it. But what I then did was go to YouTube, do a couple of videos, some gym motivation videos. I didn't even get through the second one before I was like, you know what, get up, let's go, right? So know and understand what gets you motivated. So different things it can be you can have an accountability partner who you send a chat to say, see, I'm really feeling down at this point. What do you think I should do? So you could have that. You could watch some motivational videos like I would always do to get me in that moment, especially if I don't feel like it. And it could be you have a particular mentor, you do enjoy their content. You could go there, watch a couple, get your motivation on, and get back to do what you need to do. Okay, so if you want to get your motivation up, these are my top tips for getting your motivation up, and I'm almost certain that you're going to get out of that mood, get some energy in your body, and go do what you need to do. I've got another question that came that says, "Oh, I always procrastinate. There's this big community I want to create. There's this thing I want to do, but I keep procrastinating on it, and that's because I'm a perfectionist." First, I don't think you are a perfectionist like you've made yourself to believe. I think it's more of you don't want to feel too embarrassed, or you don't want to feel embarrassed. And if you don't want to feel embarrassed, I think that you will be sort of putting yourself in a position where you don't achieve your full potential. I think that's how it's going to go. So you need to get to a point where you are not you get to a point where you don't think about how you feel if things don't go the way you are planned, and just go for it. A lot of people depend on you. A lot of people depend on what you get on with. A lot of people depend on your talent and the things coming out of you, the products, the services you create, to make their lives even better, to make them get to a point where they can achieve more. So you don't want to deny others the blessings that come from you doing the things that you need to do. So start and iterate as you go along. So don't just say, "Oh, I'm a perfectionist, therefore I'm not going to do it." If you want to achieve something, and it starts with creating, chatting to someone as a start, I don't see how chatting to someone, how perfectionism has got to do what it has got to do with chatting to someone, for instance. Do you get? So that's something you've made yourself to believe. Perfectionism, I hear you, I know it exists, but I don't think that's what's stopping you from making a start. So do make a start and iterate as you go along. Now you may be saying, "I need clarity. I'm so confused. I don't know what to do with my career right now. I don't even know. I want to create a business, a side hustle. I don't know what to create a side hustle on. I'm just all over the place, so I don't know how to proceed." This is what I'm going to say to you, right? I think that for you to determine what's best for you to be getting on with, you need to check the perimeter of your potential. What is that thing that I've got potential to do? That's your starting point. What do I have potential to do? Um, what do I have potential to do and I enjoy doing on most days? So because something falls within your scope of potential, you could do it, does not mean you would enjoy doing it, right? So you need to focus on what you have potential to do, that you enjoy on most days, and that can be translated into products and services at or in a commercial quantity. So you could do it because it's within your potential to do, whether as a result of talent plus hard work, or talent alone or hard work alone, whatever. It is within your potential to do. You enjoy doing it on most days, and you could translate it into products and services in commercial quantity. That's what you should focus on. That is what you should build your business around. Okay? If you want to thrive, so you are a career starter, you're just starting off your career, you want to thrive in your industry, or you've only just transitioned into a brand new industry, and you want to really thrive in that industry, and you're thinking, "What do I need to do?" Especially technically, what do I need to do? The first thing I will say to you is this: get a mentor, onboard a mentor in that field who is striving. So don't just onboard a mentor. That mentor needs to be a thriving mentor, someone who is thriving, whose competence is not in doubt, who is clearly getting things done, who is a powerful communicator, who is bringing in and adding value to your organization. So you need to chat to them and tell them that you would like to have them as your mentor. Now, it's not compulsory that they work in the same company as you, but they've got that good reputation. So chat to them and tell them you want to onboard them as a mentor, and ask them what you need to do to get them to be your mentor. That's what I think is a starting point. Now, find online mentors. So it's not just someone you have physical access to. Sometimes you can have mentors you don't have physical access to. So you could have online mentors, people who are doing exactly the same thing that you're doing, but they are thriving. And especially if they're online, it means must have created a lot of content around the same technical competence you're trying to achieve. Consume that over and over and over and over and over again. Don't just consume it once, do it over and over. Before you know it, you begin to think like them, begin to have their kind of mindset, and you begin to put yourself in that position where you can thrive yourself. Buy and read books in your industry. So don't just buy self-help books only, or just in your industry. If you want to thrive technically, you want to get to a point where you are seeing your competence is not in doubt, you need to buy books and you need to read books about what you do. So for instance, if you do sales and marketing, buy books about sales and marketing and read. You will get a lot. I mean, a lot of people have been through stuff over the years and they've been gracious enough to write those things down. Go and read them so that it can add a lot of flavor to your offering as a career starter. Use a personalized training calendar. It is very important. I've got a template. I'll probably link that through in the description box below. But on LinkedIn, there is the Career Starters Hub on LinkedIn, where that template is currently sitting. If you follow me on LinkedIn, you will see the Career Starters Hub link on my bio. So what you need to do is have a personalized training calendar. You need to know A, B, C, D, E, but that's all. There is no action or a roadmap to you achieving it. And that's where you need to get to right now. So find a calendar, write out all the areas that you need to sort of learn things on your technical stuff, leadership, business communication, self-help, motivated. But if you're looking technically, you also need to break it down into various technical areas. So for instance, I am an auditor. I would think about regulatory guidance. I would think about audit methodology. I would think about financial reporting frameworks. To me, those are the three main technical areas that I will sort of focus on for me to thrive on my job, right? So you determine what is yours, pull out a personalized training calendar and use it. Okay. A couple of mentees have reached out to me to say, I want to write a professional exam, or I want to write a professional exam, or I want to do this additional degree. What would you advise that I do? I've got a rule of thumb, and that's just my personal rule of thumb before I sort of go in writing an exam, doing a course, whatever it is. Number one is, how relevant is this professional certification or additional degree that you want to take? So you could, most times you would have more than two, more than three options, right? Go for the most relevant one or the most reputable one. Go for the most relevant and most reputable. Don't just write exams for writing exams' sake. Make sure that they are relevant to the work that you're doing and they are reputable. Like when people say, people like give credence, like, yeah, this, for you to have this certification, you basically know what you're doing. Okay. I recognize this, is it within your industry? So it could be a good certification, but if it is not recognized, you may be pretty much wasting your time, especially if you want to thrive in that particular industry and you want to remain there, right? So you must think about how recognized is it within your industry. You also want to think affordability. Now, personally, it's my personal preference. I don't think about the cost when I'm investing in myself, especially for me to remain qualified for the work that I do. But I can imagine how for someone else it may be top of mind, especially if they've got other responsibilities, their budget, and all of that. So it depends. So you may also want to think about affordability, but try as much as possible not to go for lesser options because of money. I would rather you plan towards getting a very substantial one at probably a higher cost, but is more meaningful and opens more doors for you in your career. Okay. Now, as career starters, you may just be thinking, as a career starter, you may be thinking, I don't know this, I don't know that. I just want to be like my boss. I want to be like my higher ups. What do I do? What do I do? What do I do? Listen, this is what I will say to you. The difference between you and your higher ups, your bosses, just who you work for, is the years of experience and the knowledge they've gathered during those years. That's what separates you from your bosses. If you do know that, it then means that the only fact for you right now is that you do not know it yet. But once you do, new versions of you begin to unfold. Once you do, new versions of you begin to unfold. So, what does that mean? It means don't worry about what you don't know just yet. Just focus on your plan to know it. So, a lot of people worry about the things they don't know, but do not have a factual roadmap to then know it. So, focus on the learnings. That you don't know it now is okay because that's how it should be. It's fine, but don't make that top of mind such that you now begin to worry, get anxious about the things you do not know. Now, if you're still blaming others for what is going wrong with you right now, like you're still blaming others, you think your life has gotten to where it has because someone has not done something they should have done to support you, then absolutely, 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 you have not started your journey yet. You need to get to a point where you stop blaming others and you focus on taking responsibility for everything going on with you now, because your career is in your capable hands. What you cannot control, you should not spend your time worrying about. You should not spend your time, you know, just don't think about it. Don't What is out of your control. Focus on what you can take responsibility for, and stop making excuses and start and blaming other people for where you are right now. Okay. Now, there are some. So I had another question, and this question was a bit like, this person is a very top person, who is like an assistant to the MD of a large organization, and this person is trying to break out into more opportunities within the wider organization and get a promotion in the next 12 months or so. So they were asking, what are the things I need to start thinking about for me to be able to get that promotion that I need, spread my wings, fly, get a promotion, do other things other than just being an assistant. And the starting point from my perspective is right there where you are, the work that you're doing right about now. Your competence should not be in doubt. That's the starting point. So if people are still complaining about the quality of your work, if people are still sort of agitated, or they're not really sure if they should give you a piece of work or not, that's the starting point, really. So focus on your technical competence where you are now and make sure that you are delivering what is expected of you. Now, one of the questions that came as a sub of that question is, how do I serve my boss well? How do I serve my boss well? Now, if you want to serve your boss well, you need to understand what is expected of you, what they expect. Because if there's a disconnect between what you think and what they expect, you will not serve them well. And what they expect of you is not necessarily what is in your job description. That is a chat for another day. I'll do another live, I'll talk about that. But what they expect of you is not necessarily what you have in your job description. And what is expected of you can differ by situation and by time, by days. It can be very different. And that's why you need that sort of discernment from time to time to say, in this situation that I'm in right now, what is expected of me. Sometimes it can be that you should be calm. Sometimes it can be that you should be proactive. Sometimes it can be you should do aggressive follow-up to get that client. I mean, it can be just about anything depending on the situation. We'll come to that later, but you need to understand what is expected of you, what your boss expects of you. So one of the practical ways for you to do that is to schedule calls to discuss it, right? Schedule calls with your boss to discuss their expectations of you. Now, when it comes to your job as well, show interest. Not just on what you're doing. Don't be silo in your interest. Also ask what's going on here, what's going on there, ask questions. Ask questions. Don't just focus on one area of your work and just focus on that. Uh, uh, Ask, the work that I'm doing, how does it impact the other aspects of work in my organization? Okay. So show interest and see how that goes. Now, If you're trying to get a promotion, the question is, you're being promoted into a level to solve a problem. Because usually the only reason why someone would want to employ you into an organization is because there's a problem to resolve or there's a problem to solve, and they will find the best fit to solve that problem. The question is, do you understand the problem that is being solved at the next level you're trying to attain? If you don't know it, you need to research and say, okay, what problem is it? What can I do to make me the best fit to resolve that problem? So you need to understand it, you need to be able to explain it, and you must prepare yourself to be the best fit for that promotion. Now, your job is to make your boss's job easier. So taking things off their plate, make sure they don't have to worry, making sure that you're reliable enough. They don't have to worry about you not being there or you not taking charge of things and all of that. So after at the back of your mind, let it come into your consciousness that you are the real deal, and that needs to show through. Okay. So and one of the best ways for you to sort of remain there serving your boss well is for your boss to come personally, for them to also know that you're the real deal and you're on top of things, right? um you have a lot of work to do, definitely, if you're going to go for the next promotion and all of that, but it has to be strategic work. It's not just you working, doing things that can be delegated and the rest. It's not just you doing that, it's you doing meaningful work that adds value to you, and meaningful work that adds value to you, and meaningful work that you had value to. Okay. You will also need to think, especially if you're trying to go for a promotion, is in your level right now, have you exercised your full authority in that level to get your work done? Some people are like, well, VPs, they are analysts, associates, whatever it is. And right there, they don't know how what is expected of them in terms of their authority to take control of their bits and pieces, how to help others, how to navigate through issues. So you must come into that position of authority. Make sure that you're working at the full expanse of what you can obviously like fill up your space. Yeah, fill up your space and make sure that you're working in the full view of your authority in your current role, and then you can begin to think of progressing into the next role. So for my last mentoring sessions, there were a lot of mentees I had to speak to and talk to, a lot of questions answered and all of that. And I tried to bring to you the summary of that. And I hope you enjoyed all of these thoughts, all of these sort of key takeaways that I brought to you today. Thank you very much for being part of this, and I hope this transforms you, shows you what is possible, and helps you as you continue to navigate your career journey. Thank you very much, and see you next time.